Hey guys, welcome to Accessibility Medcare's online 2020 training. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Stephen Rabalia. I'm one of the team leads here at Accessibility. And in this video, I'm going to go a little bit into general operations, different services that we offer at Accessibility, as well as some general rules and procedures a little later on in the video. So to get things started, just to talk about some of the services that we offer. The first being therapeutic integration, which is JIT and SASH. These are areas where us and all of our students are in a group environment to help socialization and things of that nature. The second service that we offer is Intensive Individual Support Services, or IISS, and that would be your typical home and community care, traveling around, and general one-on-one work with students. We also work at a variety of vocational sites with our students, such as VisArts, Red Cross, MedFurbish, St. Andrew's Catholic Church, CVS, med vending locations, as well as comfort cases. So moving on, this is just a general schedule of JIT on any typical week. So Monday, we generally have baking over at SASH. Tuesday, we have sharing and sensory at JIT. Wednesday is a swimming day. Thursday, we have aromatherapy and music. Friday, we have a fan favorite Zam dance. Saturday is our music and movement program. And then Sunday is dog therapy as well as swimming, depending on the week. Now for JIT Summer 2020, we're going to run things a little bit differently this year, unfortunately, because of coronavirus. So we'll be running multiple 2-hour block sessions with only a few participants at a time, just to make everything safer. And the theme is going to be sensory circuits. So our session 1 will begin in June of 2020. And the first 2 weeks will offer assistance for online school at the JIT site, as well as with home care and IISS services. Session 2 will begin in July, and then session 3 will start sometime in August. So next, just to get into some general rules and procedures, I'll go over the highlighted ones first because they're a little more important. One is always watch your student in the bathroom. Just make sure they're okay, help them out if they need it, and make sure they're being safe. The second highlighted one is prepare by reading the student's social stories and treatment plans, know about token boards and visual schedules. This I cannot emphasize enough. If you're working with a new student and you want to get a sense of what works with them, what doesn't work, their treatment plan is the best place you could go. And then the third highlighted one is don't do everything for your student. Wait before increasing your prompts. Now I know most of us are helpful people. We want to reach out and help our students whenever we can, but also in terms of helping them learn and grow as individuals, we have to sort of prompt them sometimes to do things for themselves. And then just to get into the ones that aren't highlighted, never leave your student alone, especially the ones with seizures. Um, that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you could turn your back for a second and, something could potentially happen. So you always have to be sure to be watchful. The next one is focus on your students, not the other technicians. This is just sort of reiterating the point that while we're on the job, everything we do should be for our students. It's a time for us to work and help them and not necessarily socialize. And then that last one is give time to your student to comprehend. I think this ties in well with the don't do everything for your student one, because you have to, give them time to figure things out on their own and help them grow towards the goals listed on their treatment plan. Next, we have rules and safety reminders, especially for working at JIT. So this would be in the group setting. You should never be more than an arm's length away from your student, especially those who have elopement issues or have seizures. Like I was just saying, if you turn your back for a second, something could happen. So it's best to just maintain focus on the student that you're working with that day. The second is make sure to walk the student to the door and hand them over to a parent or family member. when dropping them off at home. And always remember to have parents' cell phone numbers on hand. This one's very useful. I mean, you want to make sure that when you're passing your student off, they will be taken care of, that parents are home, all of those things. And then having their cell phone numbers can be very useful in case, you're late dropping them off or there's traffic on the way, just to reach out and let them know. Cell phones are allowed at JIT, but generally they're only used for filling out your notes at the end of a session, or if you're doing one-on-one work that may use technology with your student. So obviously, if it's texting or Snapchatting or anything else, your phone should be away at that time. And then the last one is always be on time. If you are running a few minutes late, be sure to let the team leads know just so we can find coverage until you arrive and get everything sorted out for you. Now, on the next page for rules, always think one step ahead of your child and be aware of what they can or might do. This is just sort of reminding you to maintain mindfulness when you're working with students. Being able to think one step ahead, being able to know that, a student is generally hungry at this time or generally gets tired at this time. It'll help you help them, honestly. And then the next one, your students need lots of praise, love, trust, and respect. That's what we do here. So, focus on your students, praise them for a good job, and help them get to where they need to go. Remember that it's important for you to read and follow the child's treatment plans and goals. We're working to help them reach their long-term goals. So that one sort of ties every other rule together. It's no matter what you're doing when you're on the job, focusing on that child, their goals, their plans, that's really where you are going to see, results and advancements with that particular student. And then always remember that safety comes first. Especially in this workplace environment, keeping safety at the forefront of your mind when you do anything, that is going to help you in the long term. Lastly, I'm just going to outline briefly some of our emergency procedures here at JIT. The first one being emergency exits for fire drills and other things like that. Next time you're at JIT, which hopefully would be soon, just keep an eye out for where the doors are, just in case we ever do a fire drill or, God forbid, any real emergency would show up. There's our evacuation meeting place, which would be the parking lot directly outside of JIT. Next up is seizure protocol and other medical needs. Just to reiterate again, that ties in with reading over a student's treatment plan and getting a sense for their specific needs. If your student has seizures or if they take medication or if they have allergies, this should all be something that, you really should be aware of before you start working with students, just in case there is an emergency, so you know how to move forward. Now we have reportable events, which would be any incident where a student, may harm himself or any other sort of red flag that you can place on your shared village note for that day. Generally, it's limited to anytime a student seriously harms themselves. And for that, you would want to just do a write-up on shared village and then let any of the team leads or Erica know what happened. And then the last one is CPR and first aid certifications. For all team leaders and for anyone doing adult services, this would be a mandatory class. It doesn't take that long, and you do get a great amount of knowledge from it. And then just to reiterate sort of at the end, 3 things that, if you get anything from this presentation, these are the 3 things that we really want to drive home is never be more than an arm's length from your student, never leave your student alone, and stay off your phones unless you're using them for work. So these 3 things, if you remember all 3, then even if, God forbid, an emergency does happen, then you'll be prepared, you'll be there, and you'll know how to deal with it. So that's all from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you all soon.